This is Dan Martin. You're watching Freedom. I produced a Freedom television program for probably 20... Well, actually, I produced a program before Freedom called Truth. So all in all, for about 20 some odd years, I've been producing just little teaching programs, musical programs through cable access, and now through Facebook and through YouTube and whatnot. And basically, I'll get the message out any way that God gives me, that's legit and legal and good. We're talking today about the Prodigal Son. A lot of you out there probably know the story. We're reading from Luke chapter 15, verse 11. And we're going to have to hold a second. So anyway, isn't that just amazing? I mean, batteries go dead, things fail, and it kind of just goes with our story, because in our story, you probably know the story, and we're gonna read the verses. But the younger son was kind of ignorant. He thought he kind of probably was smarter than his dad, and he probably just didn't like hanging out at the household anymore. And his older brother probably got a certain degree of favoritism. Matter of fact, it was kind of in that culture in that day that if you were the firstborn, you were the favored child. And so he probably thought, well, I'm going to get out of here and do my own thing, and I probably know more than my dad, and I probably know more than my brother, and if I can get my inheritance, I'm going to go have a good time and do my own thing and build my own little kingdom or build my own little world. We don't know exactly what was in his head. In reading chapter Luke 15:11, it says, "A certain man had 2 sons, and the younger of them said to his father, 'Give me the portion of goods that falleth to me.' Now this would customarily be 1/3 of the total inheritance. The indication is that the man just had the 2 sons. The older son customarily would get 2/3, and the younger son would be given 1/3 of the inheritance by the standard of that culture. Now it's very unusual for a son to ask for an inheritance before his father was dead. It would be offensive at the very least to most fathers and to the community around them, but for whatever reason the father did it, and it says that he gave it to them, so it gives the indication that he split it equally, not equally, but he split his whole inheritance, 1/3 to the younger son, 2/3 to the elder son. It says, and he divided unto them his living, and that's verse 12. And so he divided it up. And it says, not many days after, the younger son gathered all together and took his journey into a far country, and there wasted his substance with riotous living. Now, going back and seeing that the father did grant him his wish, we can see the goodness of the father. And, the father is probably a pretty wise man. He probably knew that this son was not very mature, and that he was going to blow it. And in the same way, and we're going to be talking about the Beatitudes in our next teaching, but we could see that God, in a sense, gives us greatness and goodness and good gifts and things before we really are ready to walk in them, and we develop as we carry them, as we go with them. He doesn't wait until we're perfect to give us the gifts of heaven, or the gifts of perfection, for lack of a better term. We know that God's goodness leads us to repentance. And so here you have the father's goodness in this story, just going along with the son, and giving him what he asked for. And it says that he went into, he took his journey into a far country, and there wasted his substance with riotous living. Now notice, he didn't ask for his father's blessing. He didn't ask to be prayed over. He didn't ask for his father's wisdom. Hey, what do you think I should do with this, or anything like that? So we can get the impression that that he just wanted to go out of his father's sight. It says he went into a far country. He didn't go nearby where he'd be able to counsel with his father, talk with his father about what was going on in his life. He pretty much wanted out of that house, man. He wanted out of that land. He wanted to do his own thing, and it says that he went to a far country, and he wasted his substance with riotous living. And if you look up the roots for the term prodigal, you'll see that it pretty much, coming from the Latin, I believe, it means wasteful son in general. And he's living up to his name, the prodigal